Hey folks, this is Brian again. Hey, it's Sunday morning, the last day of Origins. I've got one game this morning to run. But yesterday, I tried to do this last night, but I was wiped out. Yesterday I was scheduled for 3 games. One, the Fainting Spirit, and then 2 of running Remembering Carl Man. But we had nobody show for that second game. So I only ran 2 yesterday, but I was able to actually do some more in-depth research, digging into the Remembering Carl Man scenario. And my basic feeling overall, the 2 scenarios, well, if I throw in Steal in the Eye, we can add that too. But more feeling of the 2 scenarios was that the Loon is too easy to kill and that the Wraith is too hard to kill. We've only gotten to the Wraith in like 2 of my games, and in both of them, the Wraith just pop, 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 take everybody out. And it could be because we didn't have, there was 3 in one game and 4 in the other, and neither of the games really chose the magic user types. So it doesn't seem like there's a lot of combat magic that the party can bring to bear on the Wraith. I'll get to the last game. But anyway, on Steal in the Eye, I think the statue is just way too weak. So my first game, the Fainting Spirit, we had 2 guys show up for that, and one of them did not want to play with just 2 folks. So he was out actively recruiting people to come to our table to play. And he convinced this girl to come over and sit down with us. And she, I don't think she's ever played anything. Any role-playing games, if I remember right. So we spent a lot of time up front going slowly over the character sheet, describing stuff and things and how stuff works and trying to reiterate things and then trying to eliminate confusion because it can be confusing. There is so much on these character sheets for a new player that it can be overwhelming. And that's something that Todd was talking to me about. He's designed a scenario for characters who are just going through their initiation ritual kind of thing. So they've got like 1 rune point and maybe 1 point spirit magic. But while they're fighting off a bunch of minor bad guys, their uncles are up on the hilltop fighting off a big bad guy with all this rune magic and stuff. So they can see what's possible. They don't need to worry about it. They just can only do so much. It's a good idea. In fact, I was thinking this morning that I'm going to put a scenario together, Descent to Chaosium for their, if they're looking for Runequest anyway this year, for the new scenario list. That's along the same idea. Okay, so anyway, the Fainting Spirit. 3 folks. They go out, they find the boy. One of the players is really suspicious. That seems to be almost every game I've had of the Fainting Spirits. One of the players has been really suspicious, thinking it's all set up, right? But they find the boy. They take him back to the Queen and report to the Queen. And so we did the little vignette with the Lunar Soldiers, and then we get back to Queen Laika, and we do a little vignette with Queen Laika. And they seem to like doing that. And it wasn't really difficult to do or to run. It's just not my style. Just let players, run whatever they want to do. But, it's narration, so it doesn't really impact the game, really. There are a couple spots where if you want to roll a passion to inspire yourself to, really show her that, you can get check marks. But anyway, so the Queen sends them out to go see what's going on and do what they can. So they head back. They run into the lone patrol with the Hamakdi and the 3 children. They have a little interaction there. Not very long. And the girl escorts them off to, she says, "Let me take you to my clan leaders." So he takes them to the fort directly. One of the players did make a special success on the scan roll, so he got to see the 3 gentlemen trying to ride the cow. And the whole ruckus that went on with that. They get to the fort. They have a little back and forth with the Hamakdi there. They go in. They meet the 2 twin girls. They go through the little formal ceremony deal. Go inside. The girls collapse. Go, "We need your help. We need your help. We know what we're doing." So there's a little conversation there. Not much. They got some more information that way. So the party decides we're going to go check out the Daemon Cave. So they go right to the Daemon Cave. And the girls, they know about cutting yourself and splashing the blood, but the door wouldn't open, so they don't know what they're missing. So the party tries doing this cut and splash, but they were using one of the three townsfolk. They're just kind of wandering around there and cut their finger and splatter blood. Well, so for the townsfolk, they can see the opening, but they don't care. But nobody else sees the opening. Eventually, the girls say something. Oh, when they first got there, I had everybody roll like a cult lore kind of thing. Actually, it says or a custom. It's got to be a cult lore. But it might be a customs thing about you need to have a ceremony to open up the door kind of thing. So they do the worship service, and that goes off fine, no problem. And they start doing this, cutting other people thing. It just doesn't work for them. And the girls say, you need to cut yourself. And so one of the players cuts himself, splashes the blood, walks through. Oh, before he walks through, he does hand the knife off. Does he? Well, I tell him, you see, so he walks through, but nobody else sees the door open. And so they each cut themselves and go through. They didn't have the ritual knife. They just cut themselves with their own knife. And they go through. So they don't know what the panels in the clan hall say. And they don't know what they represent. So they're going through the same blind. They actually do pretty well. I had to, feed them some information from the girls, but not too much. So they get to the first statue, and the exorcism there that they can roll something to figure out what they do. They need to offer him some kind of rune. So they choose their rune. We go through the rune rolling thing. The rune appears, goes in the statue. Rune appears, goes in the statue. Rune appears, goes in the statue. The girls do it. It goes away. They go through. There's the rocky parts. They still got to drop their armor and shield. They can keep their weapons. They go through, and everybody made it on their power times 5. So everybody gets through, no problems. The next room's the champion. So he's send forth your champion. And I forgot why, but there was a reason that they chose Yanioth to be their champion. Yanioth doesn't have any honor, though. Honor as a passion. So we just did a quick, okay, invoke honor. You got 60%. And so they start doing the honor thing. The daughter of darkness comes out, starts to run towards them. The other players intervene. Some combat goes on. One of them, she got hit twice. Fairly, well, once not too bad, but at the same time she got hit with a special. So she lost the use of her arm, but that knocked her hit points down to about exactly 1/3. And so at 1/3 hit points, she's just going to. So when her turn came around, the next round, when her turn came, she just smoked and drifted away. So we go back to just Yanioth doing the honor thing, back and forth. And it lasted a long time. One of the other players decided to try to inspire her with his honor. I think it was fostering his honor. I gave her a +20, so she started winning at that point. But she won 4-0. So the figure mist goes away, and instead of having them go through, since you transition to this lush forest thing, I just had the room transition. So you finish the honor fight. The honor champion then is standing in this lush green field or forest, and there's the nymph and the great tree, and so they go and they discuss about she says this. You feel you need to do some kind of passion or rune to help her and describe how that works. So they do that, but so there's nobody else, it's just you. And then I just had the second player. Okay, you're in this lush forest, blah, blah, blah. And then when the nymph does her thing, it all goes black. It all goes black. And once everybody's done with that, then they're in the cave. Everybody's together. There's the loon. Feed me and I'll tell you my wisdom. And the girls shout out something like, focus on your loyalty and give it your magic. And then we talk about the mechanics, what that means. So 2 girls are there because there's only 3 players. And they're pumping magic points into the daemon. The loon attacks. It's going to take out the 2 girls. One of the players interposes himself. Yeah, one of the players interposes himself, and the loon's an elemental, just goes right through him, right, and jams on the girls, takes magic points. Well, it's full moon brought there, so we didn't get attacked to actually attack. But the match points happen anyway. So the next round, Harmast, I think it is. Harmast attacks, Voster attacks, and it's only got 22 hit points and no defense. It's dead. They kill it. So everybody gets a turn and fuel up the daemon. So that's why I think maybe either I'm doing something wrong with the moon elemental, or because I can think of this got to be something where along the lines where only magic hurts it kind of thing. But no, I couldn't find that in the book anywhere. So they kill the loon and they save the daemon. The daemon gets better, and they go out into town, and everybody's better. And they go back to Queen Lika and tell her everybody's better, and they get all these nice things afterwards. My final game that night was Remembering Caroman again, and we had, was it a full tape? Almost full tape. We had 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 guys showed up for that table. And of course they want to play these tough fighter types, right? So they don't have Vishy with them, and they don't have Yanioth. Well, we had 5. There's 7 characters. I had 5 guys at this table. So yeah, 1, 2, 3. Well, that's only 4. Who did they miss? Missed somebody else. We had Visana, we had Voster, we had Naaman, and we had Harmast. Yeah, this is 4. Remembering Caroman. So they Harmast. So I'm doing this dialogue with Harmast about the farmer and him coming forth. He makes his role. So he knows about the widower and that kind of thing. And so they decide at that point. Well, we also spend some time. I always spend time beginning going over the character sheet, how things work, just a bit, and then remind him when we actually do something, we'll go through it all again. So don't worry too much. But at that point, remind him. Oh yeah. Voster. Visana is your cousin, and Yanioth's her sister, but she's not there. And y'all know Voster and Naaman because you've done stuff with them before. Okay, so I go and get my friend. Hey, friends, come here. We need to go do this stuff. So I go up to the farm. They meet the farmer. They didn't really talk much with him. They go into the house, and they decide to call out for her. And Harmast actually, mentions who he is, that he's the, son of the clan head kind of thing. That gives him a bonus. So she appears. She's really pissed. Get off my farm. They have a little discussion there. She gives a spiel about her son is not dead. What else? I think it was about it. There's a little discussion among me and the party about, hey, if she does have a legal claim, you need to speak to a law speaker to find out what's really going on, because. And then we do a little deal about the spirits of the ancestors, right? Don't mess with them, kind, right? Because one of them at one point starts thinking, let's just kill her. But we talk about the ancestors, and so that goes away. They did try to be murder hobos during this game, I noticed. So they go back to Clearwine. They see the law speaker. They stop by the temple and hire somebody to do some research. Law speaker mentions, hey, maybe you want to see this guy. Hey, that's my grandpa. Yeah, let's go see him. They go see him. He says, hey, maybe you want to talk to Garand. Yeah, Garand. So they go see Garand and Visana. Well, Visana actually didn't go around with everybody. She says, I'm going to go get a drink. So on the way to Garand, Harmast remembers that Visana had learned from him at one point in time. So they go get Visana, say, hey, we're going to see your old sword master guy. Let's go see him. They go see him. He stops the fight. Says, hey, and the player playing Visana was being really toady, being a badass kind of thing. And she is. And the Grand asks her about how she's doing. She's doing great. He goes, let me see. And he throws her the wooden sword. So it was just the two of us doing the wooden sword. But we go through the whole combat, explaining the chart and how things work, and hitting the shield doesn't count if you get through the shield, even though nobody ever did. There was a couple of specials thrown, but it still wasn't enough to get through a shield. And then going, but because his percentage is so high, he ends up winning 3-1 or 3-0. And then a little discussion. He gives a spiel about what happened and who he knew and what about him being wounded and the Sisters of Mercy and the girl come back later and do the right thing, bring back the stories of these young people who sacrifice their lives trying to save a town. So they go off to White River, again, I just talk through the travel and the lodging. So they go up to her pen. They announce Naaman heard the music but didn't recognize it. As they get closer, they announce themselves and music stops. Oh, music stops. But as they get closer, they also hear the music. Everybody else hears the music. And at one, it was Voster? Yeah, it was Voster who recognized the tune. Okay, so they get up there. They call out. She's sticking her head out. I am Varana of the Anjani clan. These are my lands. Who are you? Kind of thing. And there's a little bit of discussion there. She's talking. They're talking to her about stuff. Then they start asking about Illyria. She talks about Illyria in the third person, and Harmas has got this look on his face. And so we have a little side discussion that, maybe that is her, and she's got survivor guilt, and so she's putting that away. And so he makes he makes a charm roll to actually get her to communicate. She comes out, and there's some more communication. And so when she comes out, there's a description of her and the recognition of the Grey Dog clan, which Harmas has hate Grey Dogs. So he rolled like a 86 or something. It was above that, so okay, he doesn't have to act on it. And they do some more communication, get some more information out of her. She allows them to spend the night in the sheepfold. She goes back into her hut. She starts playing her music. Naaman recognizes this tune, and when we talk about the little story behind that, about the star-crossed lovers who are on the other sides of the battle and end up having to kill each other because only in death can they be together. And so he goes, knocks on her door. Who is it? What do you want? And he says, hey, I recognize that tune of this song. Does that mean something to you? And he tries to get some soft communication going with her, right? But that it didn't go over well. I mean, it went okay. We didn't really learn much from that, but he kind of thinks that, hey, maybe he was talking to her, and he mentioned about Illyria did love Rayon. Yeah. So he's putting this connection together about the song and her and Rayon. Okay, good to go. And they start talking about the woodpecker tattoo again. Maybe they were married and that kind of thing, but she tells him Illyria didn't get married. So they go back to sleep. Early in the morning, there's screams and thrashing and kicking. They get up, they burst in. She's there having the nightmare. And Vasana asks about, is she being attacked? Could be the spirit attack, that kind of thing. And so she casts Second Sight, and she can see that weak passion spirit. I let that slip out as a passion spirit. But we talk about active versus passive possession, that kind of thing. And they start asking questions about, can we exercise the spirit? I said, there is a process for doing that. But then they wake her up. And so she's startled. What are you doing in my house? Get out, get out. Hey, you were having some kind of nightmare. We thought you were being attacked. You know you're possessed by a spirit? And so they start talking that thing. And I believe she knows, but the text talks about how she does not want to have anything done about exercising the spirit. So she kind of just blows it off. Yeah, she knows. Don't worry about it. That kind of thing. We talk about disease spirits and a couple other things, how stuff affects deals. So they go back out, go back to sleep. In the morning they get up. She's ready to go. Okay, you convinced me that I need to go and do something. I'm going up to High Valley. Will you come with me because I could use the help? Okay, let's go, guys. So they all pack up. They go down to Williamskirk, and then they go across to Caroman. They hire a guide. They come back and they just kind of cross-check the guide and what he's doing with Naaman the hunter, doing his stuff. And he makes a scan and a search roll, but he needs a survival roll to actually find the real trail. But he notices there are no other trails here, and this one is going up to where you need to go. So up they go. They get to the spot where the guy says, "Hey, this is as far as I go. Orlanth be with you. Just follow the stream up, and you'll get there." So they go on up there. They get up there. They start searching around. They find the stone. Naaman finds the stone, so he's holding onto it, and he can communicate with the stone. So he knows there's a spirit in there. He knows it has these spells. He knows he can use its magic points. That's about it. They start either lots of discussion or doing something. I can't quite remember, but rounds start going by. And then on round 3, the ghouls come through. They howl every bit of statements of intent. Voster's going to cast a fire elemental. Vasana's going to mount her bison and charge anybody she can see. Harmast draws his weapons, and Naaman draws his bow. That's how it went. Okay, so ghouls are moving forward. They react. Vasana does a charge attack on one of the ghouls. The ghoul actually did his dodge, so she missed. Vostor sent the fire elemental along with Vasana. So he's close enough to get one of the ghouls. Naaman sends a cat after a ghoul, starts shooting at another one, and Harmast moves forward to attack a ghoul. The ghouls go down fairly quickly. There's 2 that don't get involved until the end of the fight itself, and there's one guy who just kept making his dodges when he needed to because the shadow cat kept missing. Or would only do a little bit of damage and not hurt him, that kind of thing. But after that round, the Wraith shows up. And so Vasana goes to do a charge attack on the Wraith, and it takes magic weapons to attack a Wraith, so she goes right through him. And because the charge attack is to the character, they're right there. The Wraith moves on to Vasana, does her Wraith attack. Vasana doesn't. The attack is successful. Vasana loses 12 points of intelligence. She's down to a 3, so she's befuddled and is just sitting on her bison. The bison, continuing his charge, kind of slows down and looks around what's going on. Where are my orders, kind of thing. And Voster sends the fire elemental against the Wraith. Everybody else continues to try to kill the last few ghouls. The Wraith is much faster than the fire elemental, so bypasses him. And then 2 rounds. Well, moves forward. On that round, she casts Demoralize on Voster. Voster's actually demoralized already from the ghoul howls. I think he was the only one who was affected by that attack. But the Wraith doesn't actually know that, so she does that. The next round, she moves on to Vostor, does her Wraith attack. He misses his saving throw. He goes down to 0 intelligence and is dead. Man. And that's when we start talking about what magic they have, and nobody's got any combat magic to do. Well, Vasana does. She has Lightning Bolt, but she can't do anything now. The Fire Elemental moves up, actually on top of Vostor, because the last rules he had was kill this Wraith. So he moves up onto the Wraith, which is on top of Vostor. Vostor's already dead, so it doesn't matter. But the Fire Elemental does some damage to the Wraith, so that pisses the Wraith off. But she's got Counter Magic 5. No. Dispel Magic 5. So she casts a Dispel Magic 5 on the Fire Elemental. It's only a 1 room point thing, so 2 points of counter magic. It's gone. At this point, the Shadow Cat got specialed and is comatose, incapacitated. Harmast is no, Naaman's still up. The Wraith moves on to Naaman, does her attack. Naaman, the attack is successful, and Naaman goes down. I think he's got I think he ends up with 3 hit points or 3 intelligence as well. So he's befuddled, and it has an insanity that's going to hit him. At that point, Harmast casts movement on himself and takes off. Oh, when the Wraith first showed up, Illyria, she took off uphill too. She took off. That's part of the scenario. She doesn't. That's too much for her. A lunar priestess. They did have a little discussion about how her little sheepfolds is in like a little bowl of a valley, and the mountains are high enough that it actually blocks the moon. You can't see the moon from down here. So there was some They talked about that with her as well. That was kind of interesting. Not too bad a session. I felt bad at that point that the Wraith is so powerful. I what they could do. So for Gen Con, I'm going to do some more research on the players, and I'm going to feed them more information, or I might even just weaken the Wraith some. Because man, she is powerful. So that session ended on a dud. They seemed to have an okay time. They didn't have a real good time like some other players have, but yeah, c'est la vie. Anyway, happy gaming.